you are the average, your net worth is the average of your 5 closest friends too, right?
I must be rich. No, that's awesome.
Look, I get it. The Toronto real estate market is confusing. Whether you're a new or experienced investor or just looking for a home to raise your family in, join us at Broadview Table Talks as we sit around the table with my friends and talk about the real estate and the ever-changing market in Toronto.
Welcome to another edition of Broadview Table Talks. I'm here with my good friend Joe Liu. I'm glad you actually made it, man. That's it's hard getting your time, so I appreciate it.
I'm here for you, brother. I'm happy I'm here.
Thank you so much. So today, let's talk about development. Let's talk about, first of all, who you are, what you do, and what you're doing to change the world.
Yeah, so all really kind of started off, purchasing real estate at the age of 23 years old. Lisa and I, which is my girlfriend then, my wife now, we just love watching HGTV. Right, it was it really what inspired us into getting into real estate, and we got into real estate really at the perfect time. We purchased our first property in 2008 during the recession, right when prices are all like all-time low. I still remember the property. It was like at Bayview in York Mills, prime location. We picked up like a main floor lobby, 10-foot ceiling condo, 2,300 square foot condo for $360,000.
Like 2,300 square foot. Your first property.
2,300
square foot.
Yeah.
That's
try to get something for $360,000 now.
That's true. Add a couple zeros to that. Yeah.
So we picked that up. We really just kind of like used our skills from HGTV, project managed the whole thing, and we sold it for like double that.
Nice.
Right. And it was kind of like we got our first taste of what real estate can really be. And, from there, we just continued building our portfolio and got into commercial real estate at 30 years old. Started building our portfolio of, plazas, boutique hotels, multifamily commercial. And, about 2.5 years ago, man, pivoted and just moved all into health and wellness. Right. Nice. And that's kind of like my journey now, right? Just being here through the inspiration of my son, Jaden. My son was born with a rare chromosome disorder. And, as a father, when you're being told this, right? And sick kids saying that, listen, sir, there's only been 7 cases in history. We don't have much data. We don't know what to do for him. You kind of just have to watch it and play it out. And I remember in the early times when his school was telling us that, hey, you got to put him in special ed, and I didn't want to because I couldn't see my son that way. I was in denial, right. But eventually we made that move and put him into special ed. And it was the best thing that ever happened. These teachers are so amazing. God really presented them with such amazing hearts and dedication to help these children. And, I got to see my son really evolve. And through our journey of alternative healing, I started seeing massive transformations in him. And that's what inspired me to be able to build Heal House, to be able to create that for other families and build community out of it and let people know that there's a support team and a second home for all these people, right? Because a lot of people, when they're put in that situation, they're lost, right? So I just use my skill sets like real estate, finance, marketing, sales, the things that I'm good with, right? And, I've developed through the years and try to make the changes I can. And now I'm looking for partners, co-founders, and people that can help us really build the business in things that I'm lacking because I'm not perfect and I can admit to it, right? But, the things I am good at, I'm definitely going to push it forward.
So you started with real estate development, first of all, then moving to the health and wellness part of it for your family, for personal reasons, for your own health actually as well too, because I've seen you change over the years. Yeah. So it's been great. You created a company called Heal House, which is now mixing the two together, right? Health and wellness and real estate. So you're building the real estate to house special health things, right? That's where we're at. Is that right?
Yeah, I mean, if you look at what we're building at Heal House, it first all started off at our first we had an 18th century home located at 16th and Markham Road. It was really kind of the first test pilot there. And we built what's called an MVP, minimal viable product. excuse me. And when we built it out, I just asked all my friends, that are executive, business leaders, entrepreneurs. I said, come out. Don't need to pay me anything. I don't want your money. Please just give me feedback. Just let me know if this works. Let me know what your thoughts are. How can I improve? And we got all this data collected over the year. And we went out to look for our first commercial property. And we were able to find our first property, our first clinic, at the address of 26 Doctors Lane.
Oh, cool.
It was God given to us that we had this address. So it's Heal House at 26 Doctors Lane in King City.
Cool.
I can't ask for a better address. And so we have our clinic that's being built there, where we do, state of the art stuff. We talk about, comparing it to longevity labs, with David St. Clair. We talk about, including like epigenetics testing, DNA testing, live blood analysis, float tank, contrasting. We have a whole nutritional program, right? With a cook that stands on stage and educates you how to cook and prepares the meals in front of you, right? We talk about blood type. There's so many things that we're doing differently. But then on the real estate side, we're taking everything that we're building inside the clinic and we're basically plopping it inside the 70-bed retirement home. We're plopping it and looking to build the first health centered condo that we have, like almost a city block, front-facing city block at Lakeshore and Park Lawn. And, the goal for me as Chief Visionary Officer for Heal House is including all of this in as many locations as possible around the world so people can just have more access.
Okay, so you said a couple huge things there, and I don't think people understand what's going on because you haven't talked about the projects you're creating. So you said basically you're building a condo with health and wellness centered as a focus, right? As the theme.
Yes.
First of its kind. That's huge in itself in the real estate side. Huge.
Yes. I mean, we have a ways to go. We have a phenomenal partner that we potentially could be joint venturing with. I don't want to mention any names now because it's not official. But we have people that, are aligned with our vision. And our hopes is to be able to build this out and offer people a place where they can live and evolve and basically have all the data, have all the access to optimize their health. Imagine living in a place where you can go down to your Himalayan salt cave to do meditation, to go to your sauna and then cold plunge and do Wim Hof breathing. And then, go down to grab your cold pressed juices or your meals according to your blood type and your epigenetics testing, looking at your posture and like how you can improve your posture every single day through the work that we do, getting fit in 20-minute sessions 3 times a week, being stronger, feeling younger, and us being able to measure your telomeres, your mitochondria, your inflammation markers. To me, that sounds like heaven.
That's awesome. So like most condos have like a gym or like a business center. You're having actually a whole wellness program involved in that. In a condo.
That's our dream, and
awesome, man.
The one thing that we can implement for sure is inside our retirement home, right? That you're a part of. You're a part of, right? Like we have that 70-bed retirement home or close to 70-bed retirement home out near Waterloo in a little town called North Perth, where it's a big retirement community there, and we're looking to provide all of this to our seniors, our parents, our grandfather, our grandmother, because those people, I mean, they gave us life.
Yeah.
We have to appreciate them. I remember having a conversation with some veterans, and I asked them, I was like, what are your thoughts of a retirement home? Like when you think of retirement home, what comes to your mind? And they tell me, Joe, it's just a place for us to die. Right. And, when they said that to me, I felt like we can really offer them something better. We should, and we need to offer them something better. So that's where it kind of stemmed where, we got to build Heal House inside this retirement home, provide, matchmaking when they do their intake forms, when they do their surveys, for us to be able to understand every single thing about them so we can help them build meaningful relationships inside the retirement home. there's nobody else is really doing that. If you look at seniors and what they're doing on a daily basis, what's important to them? What's important to them is to build meaningful relationships, for them to be there and communicate with their friends, waking up every single day and being able to see their friends or best friends, because their children are busy working, building their own families. Their grandchildren, right, are in school, learning and growing and playing. So it's important for them to have friends that are like-minded, in a place where they can enjoy and play and just be able to get better, and when every single day when they wake up, I just want them to feel excited to wake up and just be a part of what we built.
That's huge. So, like, as far as I know, I don't think anybody in Toronto is doing, or around the world really is doing anything in terms of mixing real estate and health together, health and wellness. That's huge. Like, I don't know of any.
I'm so thankful that we're able to create something like this. And sometimes when you look at channeling, how did it all come about, right? Like, why is it that I feel in my heart that this is something I want to build? Now it's all just time to put it together and align ourselves with the people that feel the same way we do. There's amazing, phenomenal entrepreneurs out there, right? To be able to align ourselves with these entrepreneurs and business leaders and executives and people to help build this community, so our next generation, we know it's going to be in a better place. That brings a smile to my face every single day. Every single time I'm building it out, every single time I'm stressed, it puts a big smile on my face. And I know that we're doing it with the right intentions, because it always starts with intention.
Absolutely. So that's a really good why, to a big why, or whatever you want to call it, to small why, big why, whatever, to do what you do. Because you're right, it's super stressful to, first of all, to do the real estate part of it alone, right? Navigating the cities, the two different cities, assembling properties, making sure cash flow is all there, raising capital, getting zoning, all that kind of stuff, right? And then actually building it out, selling the units, like all that stuff is just super stressful. There's a lot of things that can go wrong every single step of the way.
They say that, Joe, do you think that you're juggling enough balls in the air already? Like, this year we look at the last 2 years, we've all gone through, COVID and being sick and tired, and then being sick of being sick and tired, right? Because it's just been dragging on. Yeah. So we notice now that our health and well-being is more important, that we should really we reflect and think to ourselves that I need to think about myself first. Yeah. I need to, maybe I got to take an hour in the morning. Maybe I don't jump on my phone. Maybe I walk to the park, right? Maybe I go for a bike ride, right? Like, people are starting to wake up, and this waking up is, it's a beautiful thing to see, right? Because if people are going to look more into being grounded and looking after their health and well-being, this entire world's going to change. And, this is what really should excite us, right? And there's going to be leaders and creators that realize this. And I'm excited to see what's to come. Right. I mean, we're building what we're building on our side, but, I'm a fan as well. Like, I'm just ready to sit back and see what other amazing creations can be done with this.
Speaking of creators and new things coming out, like, there's like all these new cool gyms that are just, specialized in social, and they're mixing a whole bunch of things, but centered around gym, like health and wellness and stuff like that. Right. So it's pretty cool to see that. Absolutely. But specifically with real estate, like with all the stress that you have going on, like, so what's your routine look like? What's, like, when you say, because I remember when the days where you wouldn't even sleep or eat or whatever, you just work hard, and we work, and all the projects, some of the projects we worked on together, right? What's it like now? Because you look more refreshed, you look healthier that way.
I think that I've learned to be more balanced, okay, right? And balancing is taking that time for myself. Being able to go out there and go for walks with my family, go to the park, be grounded, be surrounded by nature, and realize that, it's no matter how much I work, you can only push the needle so much. Yeah. Right. And so it's about being effective in what you do. Mm-hmm. it's about being surrounded with the like-minded individuals and visionaries. And when you know that you have that around you, it's going to fall in place. I mean, I'm in front of you right now, but I can guarantee you there's stress. There has to be stress. You know what I mean? When you're an entrepreneur, you know, like it's, I don't know if you ever seen that video where, you know, you get that hamster running on a wheel and it never stops. That's how it is being an entrepreneur, right? You know, you're constantly chasing and running, but the beautiful thing is that, you know, you're blessed with the ability to create. And so once you realize that, like I have, you know, I know that there's going to be a lot of stress in front of me, but we have to see it through. Thick and thin, whatever it is, we have to see it through. And if you have those affirmations and that mindset, right, then things will happen for you, right? You just can't give up.
Okay, but the actual daily schedule. So when you wake up, like what time you wake up?
Yeah, so I typically wake up around like 7 a.m. I know the high performing individuals try to wake up around 5. I'm going to get there, right?
Yeah, it's different for everybody though. It doesn't have to be.
But I mean, I wake up about 7. You know, really just take some time for myself in the morning. Typically try to get some fiber in me, and then after really just tell myself, okay, this is what I want for the day, and prepare a list of, you know, what needs to be done, and contact the people and just make sure everything is moving. You know, when you're CEO or, you know, chief visionary officer, it's always keeping things rolling, right? So you have all these different parts, you know, like say balls in the air, and you just got to constantly keep that flow rolling, right? So I have to basically identify what those balls are, who's going to basically manage those balls, and then just keep everything rolling and making sure that's efficient.
Yeah, exactly. That Dan Sullivan book, Who Not How, right? Like who's going to do it for you, not how you're actually going to do it. Who are you going to find to actually create it for you? Because you can't do it all yourself.
Yeah, you
at the end of the day. Yeah, it takes superstar organization skills to just be able to see the big picture as well too. It's kind of hard to do that. So it's amazing.
Well, we're always trying to perfect ourselves. You know, like you know, I've known you for years now, and I just see your growth every single year. I just see you improving every single year.
You just can't stop learning, man.
And I don't know if it works or not, but you know, whatever you're doing, like I'm just less wrinkles too, Ken. So
yeah,
good
right.
for you, man.
That's a lighting actually.
but I mean, that's who we are. That's the way we're built, right? And you know, if you know, we always have to look at our outlook and just, you know, how can we improve ourselves?
Yeah, I mean, I look at it as a way where you never stop learning, never stop growing, and it's not growing for this. Actually, it is growing for the sake of growing. You know what I mean? Like,
of course, yeah.
I have enough. You know what I mean? Like, I don't need more. Like, you can have a simpler life, but like, I don't want that. I want to keep pushing, build for people around me, and just constantly upgrade my own skills. Like, you know, I'm part of coaching, for example. Like, I don't need to have a coach to tell me what to do. Like, I've been doing this for so long, but it's good to just make sure that the main thing is they keep me accountable for the goals I say I want to create. Right. And it's so easy for entrepreneurs to be able to just think of a million ideas in a week. But like, you always have to bring it back to what are you going to implement this quarter? You know what I mean? One quarter at a time, and see what goals you're actually that actually sticks and that you can actually bring into your system and continue onwards. Because it's so easy to chase a shiny object. You know what I mean?
Well, if you're not growing, what are you?
Stagnant, dead. Yeah. Whatever. Right.
Yeah.
Like it's downhill.
Right? So for us, if we realize this, we don't want to be stagnant, right? Because if you're stagnant, you're eventually going to die, right? So, you know, we just want to be able to see continuous growth. There's going to be dips, there's going to be roller coasters, right? But how do we learn from it, right? Like I can admit when I make a mistake, right? I don't like others. What I can't stand, my pet peeve is that people are not accountable for their action. Right. If I made a mistake, I'll be more than happy to say, hey guys, I effed up here, right? You know, I've learned from it. Let's improve. Let's make it better, right? How do we make it better? You know, go to the team. And if I can't solve it, have the team help solve it, right? But if you're not accountable, you'll never learn. You'll never grow.
Well, it comes to pride, right? You know, but speaking about always growing and stuff, like if you look at those big CEOs, those big companies, large, you know, multi-billion-dollar companies, they're all old. They're all like 70-something, right? Even presidents, you know, I mean, like 70-something. my memory of a 70-year-old is like old and just weak and fragile. You know what I mean? But like these ones are like leaders. They're killing it, right? Because they're also obviously pushing their mental game. They're pushing their physical as well too. But they're just out there constantly growing, you know? So I hope the same for us, man. I hope we get there, you know, when we're at that age.
I don't know if you remember seeing the first, you know, pictures of Jeff Bezos when he first started Amazon. You know, he was like a skinny, scrawny little guy, you know, with a handwritten Amazon sign behind him. And then now when you're looking at Jeff Bezos, he's like built, like he's you know, he's jacked. And, you know, he looks younger and stronger and vibrant, right? Like this is somebody that's constantly iterating himself to be better and better and better. And I think that, you know, the entrepreneurs, that you have to keep on iterating, you have to keep on pivoting and growing, right? And finding the ways to do that.
Yeah, absolutely, man. It's just, I don't know what it is that drives me, and same with you too, because it comes with sacrifice, you know what I mean? Like it comes with sacrifice from time, from whatever else you want to do, leisure, you know, like family even sometimes, right? Like there's things that you gotta put aside in order to get to that goal. You know?
We as entrepreneurs, what do we want now? Like I think my days of wanting to drive a fancy car, you know, like all that stuff. I look at family, I look at meaningful friendships, and I look at legacy. And what's legacy? Not necessarily my building on a hospital, which would be nice, but it's legacy is leaving something behind to the new generations that they can learn and improve from, right? Being a leader and a gate opener, right? So for me, that's what drives and motivates me. Right?
Making a mark in the world at the end of the day and leaving it there.
Yeah.
Impression.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. So it just passes on to generation, and yeah, absolutely, man. I feel you on that.
And especially 100%. To our children too, right? Like I know you have, you know, everyone should congratulate Ken because, you know, he has a newborn now, you know, his third child, and it's so beautiful to see.
Thank you.
But yeah, we do it for them.
That's it, man. And not even for them, for the mark that they're going to create. And actually, I go a little further and I say for the employees as well too, right? Because they're following me, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
and they're dedicating, yeah, sure, they get a salary or whatever, but they can have that anywhere, you know what I mean? So they choose to follow me, which is great. So I got to provide back to them. So in turn, they'll just continue growing this organization and just become self-sustaining, you know? Like that's the way I want to grow anyway. So it just drives me to keep going.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, no, definitely. You know, you have these people. I'm looking at the charts here, and you managing them and leading them, and there's so much of us out there that are looking for mentors, right? And we need a mentor. Yeah. I didn't have many mentors growing up, but I try to look at my friendships now, and I try to see, you know, like how we can help each other, right? And so if I look at my group of friends, I want to be. It sounds stupid, but I want to be the dumbest guy in the room. Right. Because if I'm the dumbest guy in the room, I'm learning, and I'm learning from some phenomenal people. Of course, I want to be able to, if my intelligence and experience level is X, I want to make sure that the people that I'm learning from is, you know, so much greater, right? Because, you know, you constantly want to be able to learn from those that have gone through all those trials and tribulations, right? And when you're learning every single time, it's like it's a reward, and it's the most satisfying reward after, because if you're taking all your wealth from you, if you lose your money, you make, you know, some bad investments, you get hacked, whatever it happens, that skill set that you've learned, no one can take that away from you.
It's resilience. Yeah, for sure. Yeah. You build it up again anytime.
That's right.
Absolutely. So, no, yeah, speaking of being in big rooms, I got to commend you for that too. You always look for being the small fish in the big pond, kind of going out there and just reach out to new people, like CEO of this and like, you know, doctor, whoever, and like this, you know, all the networking groups that you go to. It's pretty cool. It's pretty awesome.
They just inspire me, you know, and I, you know, when I send out, you know, my prayers, I always say that, you know, please surround myself with, you know, these energies that are changing the world that I can learn from, right? And, you know, when you pick your friends, you also want to pick your friends that have the same foundation that you do, you know, that, you know, care about their family, that care about mankind, that want to be able to make a difference in the world, that's great leaders, that have leadership qualities, right? So, you know, is like meets like. Right? So you want to be able to select your friends, and your friends are a representation of who you are.
It's true, man. Birds of a feather flock together for sure.
That's right.
We all keep pushing each other, which is nice, right?
That's
like
right.
they always say, like, you know, show me your 5 friends, and that'll show your future or whatever, right? You know.
Or they also say you are the average. Your net worth is the average of your 5 closest friends too, right?
I must be rich. No, that's awesome. Yeah. Okay. So what's next for you, man?
Heal House is really my baby. You know, where we have these exciting projects that are ahead of us right now. We made a lot of moves this year during COVID. You know, Warren Buffett always says when everybody's selling off, you know, you go ahead and buy, right? So we purchased 3 properties during COVID, and we picked them up for phenomenal prices. You know, we were able to negotiate favorable terms, and now these assets, you know, are much more valuable than when we purchased it. So we continue to make moves like that. But my heart has to be, you know, in the health and wellness side. I have to be focused. One of the most exciting projects for me is actually our mobile clinics. We see that, you know, with traffic being horrendous the way it is, you know, people that, you know, have to take half a day off work or an entire day off work to, you know, to look after their health and well-being. You know, our mobile clinics come right to you. Right.
And what's in the clinics? What do you have? Chiropractor, you said, was
yeah,
one?
We have chiro, physio, mental health with our psychologist, and naturopath, right? So, and it's all covered by insurance, right? So that's the beautiful part. And we really are building programs for companies to offer them sustainability and health and wellness, right? To build corporate culture and to let, you know, their team, their employees know that they care about them. You know, it prevents workplace, it provides workplace safety. It provides less rates for workers' compensation, right? Because if you're constantly having your health looked after on a weekly basis, right, then those preventative measures are going to prevent people from getting hurt, are going to prevent people from having, you know, like poor posture that's going to create sciatic issues and neck problems and strains, right? So, you know, we're excited to have this built out and start, you know, getting everybody's health in order.
Okay, awesome. So like they basically come to you in their mobile van. I don't know, call it truck.
No, we actually drive our mobile van, mobile clinic right to headquarters.
Oh wow.
So, you know, we target companies that have a minimum of 50 employees, right? That's really kind of our target, 50 plus employees. We drive it right down to headquarters. And the beautiful part is, you know, most employees have a 2 20-minute breaks and an hour lunch. We can service them during their 20-minute break. They never have to take the time off.
Time is valuable for sure.
Time is valuable for sure.
Like those mobile car washes, I love those things, man. They come to you.
It's the way of the future, Ken. It's people realize that, you know, like it's all about convenience, right? Amazon did a phenomenal job of making us lazy. Yeah, right.
Uber Eats too. Yeah, these guys come order Uber Eats every day.
Uber Eats,
same thing.
You know, like just, you know, why walk out anymore? I can buy from a screen and have it delivered right into my doorstep, right? So that's going to be the way of the future. And you know, this is you know, people are preparing for this now. If you're looking at Facebook or Meta and what they're going to be creating in the virtual world, right? It's we're going to be living there, and you know, we're making the moves now to prepare for the future.
Cool. Would you ever do like a hospital or kind of like kind of like Heal House, but would you ever do a regulated one or any kind of get into that stuff?
You know, I have a friend that once told me to be a phenomenal storyteller is that you always leave something behind.
You're not gonna tell me, are you?
If I tell you everything, Ken, then I'm leaving nothing behind.
Nice,
right?
Nice.
So stay tuned, right?
Okay, awesome, man. Well, all the best to you, man, and all the best to us actually, because we're working together on that project. So we'll keep pushing forward.
Sounds good, my brother.
Oh man, thanks for joining me on this.
I'm happy to.
Add it up.